Among the warnings about 9/11 were some unconventional sources, psychics. There's one in Britain in particular. I think you're familiar with them. The warnings that something was about to happen. Do you give that kind of stuff any credence?
Yes. What some people call anomalous phenomena. I got to know Chris Robinson, who's a precognitive psychic. He's a unique ability. It's still not well understood. It's kind of in the nonlinear space. He certainly, and he was having these dreams, and one of the dreams he had was the towers being hit, as well as a number of other things. He dreamed of these dogs, which were a symbol of terrorist activity. I'm well aware, and I'll say it here, I've said it to others, but I'll say it in a little bit more detail. That information, he had actually gone to the U.S. Embassy. I mean, he also gone to authorities in the U.K. That information was ultimately shared with U.S. authorities prior to 9/11, and it was ignored. Things that even Al-Qaeda was doing to flag its activities on a worldwide level to send messages. And I was involved with teams and bringing this to the attention of certain people as other means by which you could bring intelligence to the fore and act on it. It was all rejected.
There's a guy named
I met Chris Robinson. He didn't even know who I was. I had to be very careful in terms of who I associated with. But I met Chris Robinson when he was on a trip one of his trips that he made to the United States. And I heard the story. I mean, I accept precognitive psychic abilities, given my there's other history that I'm aware of, is something that does exist, and it's not something a lot of people poo-poo it, a lot of people dismiss it, but it's certainly legit. But you can imagine in this kind of this highly bureaucratic structure, a structure that is still based on a Cold War mentality, a very rigid structure, very hierarchical. This type of thinking is it's not even there's not even an out of the box for it. It's just like it's completely dismissed. And yet all these warnings from multiple sources. But here's the kicker, George. Beyond all of this.
West of the Rockies, Brad in Washington. Good morning, Brad.
Yeah, your story kind of reminds me of the Bob Lazar story. And crashed flying saucers out at Groom Lake. Have you heard of that story at all? And I don't know if you know anything about this subject. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Is there any conversation or anything, any colleagues that have talked to you, or any stories or anything having to do with it? You mentioned Chris Robinson. Is it true that he had some sort of a contact in his lifetime that led to his psychic abilities? Thanks for taking my call.
Tom, I don't know if you want to go there, but our audience is certainly interested.
Well, Chris is legit as a precog psychic. I will vouch for him. There's no question in my mind about it, even when you can't explain it scientifically, or it's beyond our ability right now to explain it. Remember what Arthur C. Clarke said: any sufficiently advanced technology is magic, and magic normally is in a realm which you can't fully explain, or you don't have the ability to explain it. I'm familiar with Area 51. I used to, when I used to be up electronic warfare, we used to do a lot of interesting flights up there. All I know is that it was an incredibly secure area, but Area 51 there's way more areas that are even more secure than Area 51.